people who you are and what it is that you do?
For sure. So my name is Charmaine Freeman Sellers. I am the artistic director and CEO of Main Attraction Studios. We are in our 9th dance season. So
Yes.
very, very excited, and I just feel so blessed to even say that. I am also a licensed school counselor. I'm also a first lady of Purpose Community Church, PCC, in the building, you know what I'm saying? And recently, I'm basically building a self-care brand. So my personal page is self_care_Char. My focus is content on self-care, Christianity, Black culture, and education. So all the aspects of like who I am. A lot of it is self-care and from a Christian standpoint. I know that affirmations are like real sexy nowadays, and really wanting people to understand you don't necessarily have to go outside of church or outside of the Bible to have affirmations, to be able to live like a happy, stress-free, purposeful life. And I know because there's been so much church hurt for people in our generation that our attendance has dwindled significantly. And so I'm hoping that this is my little attempt to like help everybody understand you can figure it out, and like God is good. And even if those that represented God didn't necessarily represent him the best way, that you don't give up on God.
Yes. Okay, so you said a whole lot right there.
A whole lot.
You said a whole lot. Let's break it up a little bit. Let's start with the 9th season of the dance company. That is major. That is major. What would you say to a parent or a guardian who wants to enroll their child in dance but don't know where to start? They see something in them, but they really can't quite put their finger on it to describe what it is or what it is that they're witnessing with the child. How would you explain and coach, not so much say into your school, but yes, into your school, but into dance, and what can it do for a child? What kind of encouragement and opening up themselves can it do for a child?
Absolutely. I would say for parents, the second that you notice that your child is interested in anything, you want to try to foster it. And so even if it's not dance, if it's piano or music or whatever, find something for them to get involved with that centers around that interest or that talent that they've shown. That's how I got into dance. When I was a kid, I was super hyper. Like I would literally like jump off of one couch and like belly flop onto the other couch. And my mom was like, let me get you involved in something before you break every bone in your body and tear up everything in my house. So she put me in cheer and dance when I was a kid. And so that's what kind of like fostered my love of dance. I didn't even know that I liked dance or that I would be good at it until mom just tried. She was like, well, let's try dance and see, because you got a lot of energy and I need you to burn it off. So that's how that happened. And so I for sure would encourage parents or caregivers to do the same. Whenever you notice that your child is interested in something or has a talent in a specific area, definitely try to foster it or nurture it as often as possible. And if they haven't shown anything just yet, then expose them to a number of different things and see what sticks.
Yes, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. It's a couple of things that I wish that I could have been participated in when I was younger, but I didn't. But now I'm going after it, and then I like position my children to go after and go get it, because the worst thing you can do is to get older and say, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have stuck with this. Okay, so how important is it for both sexes to be involved in dance? It's not just a girl thing. It's not just tutus and tights and patent leather shoes and hair buns. And like, how do you encourage a parent when their son is giving off vibes that they need to be in dance?
Yes, I've had experience with this before. I am also a part of an organization called Children's Defense Fund, and when we do our summer enrichment program, we expose the kids to a lot of different afternoon activities. So during the day, we do reading, and the authors are usually authors of color, so that the kids can recognize themselves in the literature. And then in the afternoon, we expose them to a number of different things depending on what the staff is good at. It's usually staff led. And of course, every year I do a freedom school, there's dance. The dance is popping. And I had a young man who absolutely adored dance, and you could just see the light radiating off of him whenever he was doing dance as an afternoon activity. And so I fostered it. Like I gave him like a little feature in the choreography that we were doing for our end of the summer presentation for the parents. Yeah. I talked to mom about him coming to main attraction, and she was all for it. And unfortunately, dad was not. And it broke my heart, because like I know that comes from like a place of, it's considered to be more feminine, and so I don't want my son to participate. But like, this boy wanted to dance. It didn't have anything to do with like sexual orientation or him being soft or anything like that. It was, this is what I love to do, and I want to be able to do that. And so unfortunately, because dad was so against it, he ended up not being able to participate. So then toward the end of the program, we did Spirit Day. And so each day was different. You come dressed as whatever. And then one of the last days was Career Day, and he came dressed as a choreographer. So he had like the t-shirt, the hat, the little button up tied around his waist. And then I came, of course, as ballerina. So I had like a full, big, ignorant tutu on. And one of my other staff members actually graduated from Cleveland School of the Arts. So she came as a ballerina as well. And the three of us took a picture to make sure that we like commemorated it. We posted it on the social media page for the program. And so even if dad isn't completely okay with him expressing that area of himself just yet, then we still were able to like foster it and give him some affirmation in that way. And then I have boys that I've danced with in programs that I was a part of before I opened Main Attraction. And one of the dancers has literally gone on to be a backup dancer for like Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande. He was in the Weeknd Super Bowl performance. You couldn't tell who it was because they all had on the red jacket, but like, and so it's like I need people to understand it's not just for boys. I mean, it's not just for girls. Like, it can be a very lucrative career. Like, my guy grew up in Cleveland, and he is living successfully as a professional dancer in LA. And that's just like a few of the places and people that he's collaborated with. Like, he's done commercials and all of that. But like, literally a kid from Cleveland is backup dancing with like Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande, and The Weeknd, because his parents fostered that love of dance, and he is out here collecting bags.
Yes, come on with the gift. Come on, parents. If you are listening, and you have that son, that nephew, that grandson, and you're like, all they do is dance, whether it's contemporary, whether it's ballet, whether it's jazz, tap, go ahead and enroll them, get them enrolled, get your community, get your family behind you, and push that young man and that daughter and that young lady, and push them so they can see something greater. You never know. I'll tell my mom all the time, because she liturgical dances, right? And I said, "Mom, you be twirling for Jesus," but that twirling took her all the way to Paris to twirl. You
Come
know, so
on. Yes.
you never know exactly what is in that child. You see frustration and jumping off couches and jumping off chairs and off balconies and off steps. They have this energy, and what better way to get it out than to put them in dance? Listen, you also have a lot of young ladies who are dancers in HBCUs and colleges that have went forth. Let's talk a little bit about that.
I do. So I've been wrestling with whether or not to like use that as a sales pitch, so to speak, for a main attraction, because we have to be like, on one hand, you want everybody to be able to do that, but on the other hand, it might not be realistic for everyone. But I have definitely had instances where dancers who have matriculated through the program and stuck with it have gone on to be able to dance for so one of my babes who actually came back as a teacher for me after she graduated from high school, she just got accepted to her dance program at Howard. And I've had two other babes. One graduated from Central State and was a belle, and the other one graduated from Hampton University and danced there as well. I've also had dancers who have gotten into Cleveland School of the Arts. And I'll save this one for last because like this is my mic drop material. Okay.
Okay.
One of my little ones just got accepted to do the summer program for the Debbie Allen Dance Academy. Okay. So yeah.
The legendary.
Listen.
Phenomenal.
And now because of the pandemic, like she wasn't able to actually go to LA, but that means like Debbie Allen was in her bedroom, like when she didn't, so she was able to go through the summer program and it was virtual. And toward the end, I actually went to her house because her mom is also one of the parents that's on my committee. So we were talking about like getting stuff together for the studio for a fundraiser. And her name is Joanna, and Jo was upstairs in her room, like doing like the final evaluation. And like Debbie Allen was actually in the room with the teacher who was conducting the evaluation. And this was toward the end of the summer, and the dance days were like long, and Jo was over it. She was like, I'm so tired. I was like, girl, if you don't boss up and get in there and do the thing. And she was like, yeah, because she called my name, and she was like, I was like, ma'am, do you know how much I would give to have Debbie Allen tell me anything about my dance technique? And just listen, if she told you point your toe, you point that toe, ma'am.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that this little old me from Cleveland has been able to, like, I'm this much closer to getting to meet Debbie Allen. Okay. And Grey's Anatomy is my favorite show. Like, listen,
goals.
It feels possible now.
Yes. Absolutely. So you are in your, like we stated before, you are in your 9th season of the Main Attraction Dance Studio, and then you get you and your husband, you get this call, and then it's like, First Lady, like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, you know, not to,
it still feels weird to say. Yeah. Like, I don't know, First Lady.
First Lady. You guys, if you don't know, if you just came in, welcome to the show. We Just Talk Show with your host, myself, Shenequa. And this is Charmaine Sellers, you guys, of Main Attraction. She's a First Lady. She is building her self-care brand. And you guys go ahead and continue to share this. We're just talking. We're just having a conversation. Now, I don't want to give away because I'm sensitive to others' heart, but we have had some in the sanctuary conversations and the beauty shop conversations just about when God calls you and he says, this is what I want you to do. You're going to undergird your husband, and you're gonna do this. And you like, when I was out there doing plies, I never seen myself with a First Lady in front of my name. how do you grasp the understanding of it, and the shock value? Because God, he'll just drop something on you. Be like, well, wait a minute,
Wait,
how
what?
how do you go forward in that? How can you explain to someone who God has called this large title to someone who was just like, I used to just be real nasty about a couple years ago. So how me? Can you explain that to the people?
Listen, when I tell you that, like, just the simple fact that I went to the Word Church and it used to be like a teen club. So when, like, some of the first couple times that I was there, I was like, for sure it was like twerking right over there.
Yeah.
Look at God. Look at God.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
listen, if we were talking about who was like qualified, then for sure I wouldn't have been called. But if we're talking about just having a yes in my spirit, that's really, and some stuff, like, I don't even understand the fullness of what I was saying yes to. I think it was a gradual yes for me. My husband and I, of course, we were really heavily involved in ministry even before we got married, and then since. And then I started looking at main attraction as a form of ministry, because when you look at the definition of ministry, it literally just means to put somebody in a better place than they were in. And so, like, a smile can be ministry, a hug can be ministry, and I'm proud of you or I love you can be a form of ministry. And so being able to pour into kids and help them foster their love of dance and go on to achieve amazing things, and even if they didn't dance after matriculating through main attraction, still being able to use the things that they learned and just life in general for life lessons. So I started looking at main attraction as ministry a long time ago. And then after my sister-in-law died, it really shifted my entire family.
Yeah.
And so after that point is when Diane, my husband, and I looked into, okay, what something is supposed to come from this. You don't experience this much tragedy without something good coming out of it. Like, I don't know what good is going to come out of this, but something has to. And it started with what we call like a purpose push challenge. So, like, we realized that when Jada died, it felt like she had lived out her purpose and done everything that she was supposed to do on earth. Like, even her death caused like at least five people to be saved. So, okay, we out here trying to make sense of what just happened. And now let's help other people, because she was so intent on finishing her purpose. Let us continue that work. Let us continue to help people figure out what their purpose is and then go walk in it. So it started with just like a list of questions that we came up with, and we asked people on social media and they responded, and some kind of way that turned into a Bible study. And then we talked to Pastor Brennan at the time. He was like, so just wanted you to know, we're starting a Bible study. I don't really know what's gonna happen, but here we go, doing the things. And he was like, okay, that's cool. Like, talk about Jesus. I'm fine with that. Let me know if you want to expand it into something else. And we were so nervous when we realized, like, okay, this is like actually a church.
This is happening.
Yeah. Like, we're at a church that both of us have been at for like at least 10 years. Like, I got saved at the Word. We went through grief recovery. We met each other at the Word. And just got counseled. All of this, like, a lot of who we are was formed because we both went to the Word Church. And it's like, oh my God, when Pastor found out we started a church, he's gonna kick us out. And it's gonna, like, we were just like the worst possible thing that we thought could happen. We were just convinced that was the thing that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Ain't talked to nobody about it, just convinced this man was gonna like hate us and put us out.
Right.
So we finally told him. We were super nervous about it, and this was right after he had come back from his trip to Africa, and so it was different. So we told him about it, and he looked us dead in the face and said, "I release you into your destiny." And I was like, like lost it, because we looked at him as a father figure, and it's like it's very scary to like, if you're living at home and now it's time to go to college or whatever, like leave the nest and go soar, like that's scary.
Yeah.
And luckily we found another minister or bishop in Youngstown who has been covering us and mentoring us, and we're learning under him. And it has literally been like the best thing. So like the foundational stuff we got at the Word was fantastic and definitely helped us to get to this point. And then our bishop has just like taken it and run with it, and we've learned so much from him and are still sitting under. We do not operate independent of the great Bishop Kenneth Paramore of Christ Center Church in Barberton. It's just amazing, and I don't believe if we didn't have the type of covering that we did, the mentorship that we had, and the support system that we had in trying to figure this whole thing out. Because when I tell you that running a church is no joke, like, bruh, and it's not even a whole lot of us. It's a very small congregation. Everybody got big personalities, so it's still a lot, even though our congregation is small. And so, saying all of that to say, all of that came from just like one yes at a time. Woo! I had no idea that I was going to be anybody's first lady. I actually had to heal from a little bit of church hurt, because I could tell that there were people who didn't necessarily think not only that Dylan and I shouldn't be married, but that it wasn't going to work. And they didn't say it out loud, but you can tell. Yeah. Like there was a little bit of, "Oh, you sure you want to?" Okay. And so, and that's something else. And I think you and I talked about this one day at the shop. Like, I tried to fit what I thought a first lady is supposed to be, but then it's like, why would you try to fit this mold to be something that you're not? If I've called you to do what they're doing, then obviously there is space for you, and I need somebody to see you, so that they know that it's possible for them. Like, take what you need from them and learn like the life lessons and things, and the nuggets or the love and the wisdom that they've shared with you. But I don't want you to lose you trying to be what you think it's supposed to look like.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, thank you for joining us. We are speaking with Charmaine Sellers. You guys, she just talked about when the Lord calls you and say, "Hey, First Lady," and you're like, "Huh? What?
All right, you heard me? You sure you got the wrong number?"
Right. Right. All right. So now, Charmaine, you are a First Lady, CEO of a dance studio, and you say, "Oh, not only do I like speaking to people, speaking into people, encouraging the younger generation, encouraging those of my peers, my age group. I just want to encourage everyone." So you are dived, and I'm talking dive into self-care with your social media platform on Instagram here, where you just encouraging the people, giving them words of affirmation, showing them who they are, who they could be. Your past is your past. Learn from it. Don't stay there. Move forward. Be present in the moment. Don't be so quick to run to the future. Learn what you learn now. Apply it. Grab it. Enjoy life. Enjoy life, you guys. What are you looking to do with self_care_Char?
I am slowly coming to understand but I feel like God is calling me to be a serial entrepreneur.
Mm.
I remember a couple years ago, I was talking to my husband about feeling like with Main Attraction, we settled in and things were kind of really starting to make sense at the
Okay.
studio. And he was like, I love that this is working out for you. Like I love how involved you are, how much it's been able to like really help you know that this is like what you're supposed to be doing. And he said something along the lines of, I also need you to understand that this is not all you're called to do. And I was
Come
like,
on, shout out to the husband. Shout out.
and I was like, what you mean? Like, what else am I supposed to be doing? Now, granted, this was also before we started Purpose Community. So like,
Okay.
shout out to husband because he called it. And I was like, what do you think? Like, this is what I'm doing. Like, I've been dancing my whole life. This makes sense. And this is what feeds my soul. Like, what do you mean there's more? And I feel like that might pull me away from the studios. I don't know if I want more. Like, I'm cool.
That's real. That's
Cool. And then, fun fact, I actually was a counselor before I started the studio. So I have a master's degree in school psychology. I also have a master's degree in school counseling. So though my specialty is with children, I'm also working with adults regularly because children don't come here by themselves. They come with families, they come attached to adults. And so I've gotten back into that field here recently in the last, this school year and last school year. Okay. And I was so stressed, like trying to balance all of this. I'm like, sweet Jesus, why did I do this? Like, what is happening with my life? And so I've been just really intentional about, being a counselor, understanding how to take care of myself and how the brain and body responds to stress and all of that. And because I was so intent on trying to figure out how to balance all of this stuff, I was like, well, let's see if other people are struggling with this as well. Like, we literally are still in the middle of a pandemic. And so I can't even imagine how, if I'm stressed, like I got a job during the pandemic. Like, that's not everybody's story. A lot of people lost jobs.
Yeah.
And so like, how can I help people like not be as stressed as I am right now, because this is trash. Like, nobody wants to feel like this. And also to let people know that you're not by yourself. Like, even if you do feel like this, there's people who can help, and there's somebody who might have something that has worked for them, and if they share it, it can work for you too. Like, let's not be out here just struggling in silence. And so that's really what where Char and Sassy Heels came from, or where Self-Care Char came from, and where Char and Sassy Heels came from. So the studio, after I started the studio, I also started a heels brand that was birthed out of the studio. It's a lot of things.
It's a lot. You are doing a lot of birthing, ma'am.
Oh gosh. And that came from, so we had just moved into another building, and so our schedule had to change a little bit. So the heels class literally was supposed to be like a one-time thing. I was just showing my Main Attraction moms some love, like, thank y'all for rocking with me, thank y'all for sticking through the changes, here's a free class on the house just because y'all so dope and y'all was rocking with me. And then they started talking about how it was just like a great experience for them, and they don't get time to do that anymore because they're a mom, or because they have all this stuff going on, or because some of them even told me that they'd had like some sexual based trauma in the past, and it made them not even want to operate in this type of area because of what they thought it might drudge up for them. And then also being in church, like, we've been taught for so long, like, it's almost demonic to operate in anything that even looks sexual. But then when you get married, you're supposed to know how to bust it wide open. That doesn't make sense. How?
Right.
Like, how are we supposed to figure that out when there hasn't been a safe space for us to work it out. We're told not to have sex, but there's no conversation, no workshop, no nothing that allows us to do it in a safe space. And we just supposed to know how to do it when we get married.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Now, are you still offering the heels class?
Absolutely. I just had one yesterday.
All right, ladies, ma'am.
So it's I'm looking for my charger right now because my phone must go.
Grandma.
So I have Char and Sassy Heels once a month. And we just had one yesterday, October 2nd. And then I am meeting with the studio owner.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. It's all right. You guys continue to hit that paper airplane. It's not right there, but at the bottom of the screen. Hit the paper airplane. Share this. Go ahead and share. We are speaking with Charmaine Sellers. She is you ready?
Yeah, listen, slight technological difficulties, but here we are.
Here we are. We just gonna keep it pushing. Keep it pushing.
Listen. And so we do it at least once a month. I completely shut it down during the pandemic because we weren't really getting a lot of people showing up, which makes sense. Like, I don't know nothing about you, and you want me to be in the space with you? No, ma'am. So now that more people are showing up, I'm going to look into possibly doing it twice a month, especially because it has been so, I love the idea of Char and Sassy Heels. For one, because it wasn't my idea. I genuinely believe it was God-given. But because I'm a counselor, I look at dance as like a tool for holistic health. So the women, when we come in, we have a conversation about some topic that most women normally face. And then we have conversations about your experiences with it, how we come to some, understanding of like how to navigate through this thing, and then like a quick little take-home message. So for instance, yesterday we danced to Beauty by Drew Hill, and the conversation was about, I know initially we know that it's like Drew Hill talking about this beautiful woman and da-da-da, but what about if you're having that conversation with yourself? Like, I hope that I can make you mine before another steals your heart. Like, are you giving of yourself? You understand like what self-love is, and are you taking care of your heart and making sure that it's in good shape, or do you just pour out so much that you don't really have anything left to give to anybody else because you've given it to give to yourself because you've given so much of it away? And so, and even now, like, I've been hearing that song for years, and it wasn't until recently, since I started doing Char and Sassy Heels again, that God gave me that different idea behind it. Like, I've never thought of that before.
Mine eyes have seen the glory in the coming of your smile. So what wearing if you ever come around again, please stay for a while. I love that song. That is a great perspective. That is a great perspective. That's a great perspective. So anyone can sign up for these classes. Anyone can sign up for Main Attraction Dance Studio as far as like children. What's your age? What's your age ranges? Where do you start?
Everybody from preschool to high school.
Preschool to high school. Okay. So how do they get in contact? Can they DM you? How can they get in contact with you to get more information and sign up? You guys, sign up. Go ahead and sign up.
For sure. So if you're on Char and Sassy Heels page after the fact, I have a link to the studio's Instagram page in my bio. And then if you want to go straight to the Main Attraction page, it is Main Attraction Dance. So my name is Charmaine, but it's spelled Mayne. So it's Main Attraction Dance, and that's the IG page. And then in the bio on the studio page is a link for you to get to the website and to enroll your dancer. Now, all of the classes are closed for ages like 7 and up. But if you have a little one in preschool, so like ages 3 to 5, and then early elementary 6 and 7, those classes are still open.
All right, you guys. And you, oh, they're saying, yes, you would absolutely love her school. I've been to a couple of showcases, and I'm like, I'm about to get up there. And
Oh, is that Sam? Thank you, Sam.
I'm about to get it. I'm about to get it going. Bust out some Roger Rabbit or something. I love it. I love it. Charmaine, thank you so much for coming on my show. I appreciate you. I bless you. Send you off with blessings that for your church, your husband, your marriage, your business, your brand, and that you become the best effective serial entrepreneur, bringing in the bags, sowing the seeds.
Listen, where the money resides.
Where the money resides. I absolutely love you and your husband. Please thank him for me for allowing you to be released to me this evening to be on my show. I appreciate you guys. I absolutely love you guys.
Love you, though. Thank you so much for inviting me. I was just like,